Hi. How are you feeling after that last video, part 1? Like I told you, it's a lot. How many times did you watch it? It's hard to understand. But imagine being on the other side of this, trying to explain it to everybody, which 75% shun you. Open mind, open heart, open ears, open soul, open it all. I had so much energy that I couldn't even continue on. I had to stop and, go and feel with God, meditate, help him feel better, because I feel his panic attacks. I feel his anxiety. I am 100% fine on my own. I have beautiful days. I have a beautiful daughter. I have a loving man. Perfect soulmate, which I can get down to the bottom of too. I have everything. I'm so wealthy. I have the best things in life that I cannot physically grasp. But I feel so much of this energy. So I took the night, spent it with Jason and my daughter, and now I'm doing part 2. First part, I debunked the science of it. And the whole point of this, basis of creation and spirituality with math and science, to continue that energy and continue on. So let's debunk the math part of it. You ready? The rest of this I'm going to show you. I want you to take in wholeheartedly. Please take in all of that info between part 1 and part 2. And then I want you to decide for yourself. Don't let anyone else decide for you. Please don't. You decide for you. That is the whole point of this, is it not? Talk amongst your friends. Talk with me if you'd like. If you want something cleared up, message me. You have my number? Call me. If it doesn't make sense to you, I will help it make sense. I figured out every different angle, how to debunk this, that I worked on this yesterday. This is 24-hour new information for me that I'm sharing with you. Okay, it's still brand new to me as I'm putting it out there. So in the midst of all this is what I found. And I hadn't even done this when I did the first part. I've done most of this, but this is brand new to me, brand new to you. Cheers. Oh, good. So good. Let's just take one more for good luck. Thank you, Elohim. Man, I worked at Starbucks for a quick period until I realized how toxic it was. But the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Some may have good experiences, but I did not. So what I learned from Starbucks is that coffee is a plant. So God, please let us keep coffee. Please let us keep coffee, coming from a true Seattleite. All right, cheers. Let's get to work. Elohim, Yehovah, Yeshua, thank you so much for bringing this information to me to share with our people, to instill that faith in them that they've always known, and now they really, really know. Let's help them open their eyes and take those goggles off of their own virtual reality in their game of Monopoly. Let's get started. So pretty much what led me to all of this was just trying to figure out the math part of it. And when I was trying to debunk the science of it, I found the science of it. So not only did I try to debunk the math, but I found the math. So Riemann's work, he discovered it in 1859, like I said yesterday. And then Albert's work was discovered in 1905. He, the photoelectric effect, all of that jazz, 1905, but he was not recognized and did not receive the Nobel Peace Prize until 1921. 1921, that's 100 years ago from today. Now, I decided to just kind of play around with all these dates and these numbers, trying to break down the math while I'm also working on what I work on while I'm bored, which is what I was doing yesterday. It was debunking time, which I kind of did here too, and I'm going to show you. Time and math and science are all involved, of course, and now I'm really showing you, and now I'm really showing myself. And so when I find this new breakpoints, can you imagine all of that energy inside me? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So yesterday I felt a lot of negative energy, a lot of sadness, to the point where I just had to go and take care of it, hold space for it, but still take care of it. And now I'm just like, okay, let's go. Let's get this one started, because this energy keeps flowing, and I hope it's flowing through you and showing you the absolute truth where no one can question anything anymore, including yourself. Because the last thing I want to do is to do this for someone to give you crap. So if they're giving you crap, you come and you bring them to me, okay? I got your back. So the first thing that I did, and honestly, now that I'm thinking about this, I think I'm gonna kind of just hold the camera a different way. But so if you've been following since beginning, you will see how not tech savvy I was. And I was learning, and I'm still learning all of this. So I'm learning everything while I'm learning everything, and I love it. So just bear with me if it seems a little odd, okay? Actually, I don't even know if I can turn this around now. Ugh. Electronics, I swear, you guys. I've had so many things die this week. I don't know if electronics are gonna come with us. So all my photos disappeared. I was able to get them back in the midst of all that iCloud bullshit, but I wasn't even upset that all my photos disappeared. All my baby pictures of my daughter. I wasn't upset for one reason, because if God wanted me to keep them, he would. If God intended me to keep pictures, to have pictures, he would. I don't even know if pictures were really supposed to exist. It's great that they do, but let's just move on. So I'm just gonna do it this way then. So hopefully my lighting will be all right as well. Let's just see. Yeah, it's all right. So I took 2021 and I negatived 1859, which that led me to 162. So I'm just gonna mirror this out, which by 2 dots, like the rest of the time, 23 from 2021 leap year, like that, because that's how time is really accentuated. And I'll get back to that probably in a different video. But I'm just going to take away that one, because that tells me right there that because it's being mirrored again, it's moving on, it's continuing that energy, that's already one whole cycle. So I'm just going to take it away and hold space for it. I know it's there. It's not going to affect me none, because it's already a complete cycle. I don't need to do any math. I don't need to do any science. It's already done that all by itself. So we're just going to work with that 62, okay? So when I do this 162 here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide that. Oof. You know what? I'm going to use a pen. I'm going to use a pen because I'm blind as a bat, and if I can't see it, you probably can't either. Okay. So we're going to take 62 and divide it by 2. So that equals 31, which is also mirroring, because it's still reflecting, that energy is still continuing on. So we're gonna have the 3113. I do now understand why people use whiteboards. So then, that's just one spectrum. That's just one part of the reflection. That's one part of the mirror. So now what we're gonna have to do is flip that upside down because of the energy pole, right? So now if we are flipping 62, that now tells me that this is gonna be 26 mirroring 1. So to make this flow work still, I'm gonna turn it back upside down, but I should be writing the opposite way, which further in this lesson I do. So now that this is going to be reflecting 26 point equals to 1, like it's just 26 segments of that whole next one. So if it was 1 and 1 more, it'd be 2 for those cycles to complete, but it's not yet. So this is really gonna just boil down to this. Okay, so if you break up 62 by 2, it's equal to 31, which is also equal to Urkel, like Steve Urkel? Did I do that? Why did I bring that up? Why? Okay, the things that pop in my head, you guys. It's still reflecting, so it's 1331. This is where your proportions come in, value of n, what's equal to, all of that, since it's negative, positive, reflecting, folding, all that jazz. So now, when we do this, that's all it gives me, but we're going to continue breaking it down because that's the whole point of this, right? So now I get 26. 26 minus 3 for God, Jehovah, Yeshua. No matter what the value of n is, no matter if it's them, if it's God, Jehovah, me, God, Jehovah, Jason, God, Jehovah, vice you, minus that 3 and 1 that Kalat's brought up is now 23. So now we're gonna go with the 13 and break that down. Minus 3 for that 3 and 1 again. It's now 10. This is where the even stacking comes in. It's also prime stacking, really, he wants to say. You can't, okay. Yeah, you can't stack primally without even numbers. So it's all connected. The even just closes that circuit to bring that 3, to bring that energy, like we talked about yesterday and throughout the rest of this, really. And pretty much the way our minds are going to have to be reprogrammed to think now at this point. And I'm here to help you with that. And so is God. So is Jehovah. So now we're going to 10 divided by 4. Just 2.5. Everybody knows 2.5. Everybody loves 2.5. Let's get to know 2.5. Okay. 2.5 inside me. That reflects the 2.5 inside me of Jason. 2.5 inside me. That reflects God, Elohim. 2.5 inside me. That reflects Jehovah. There's all those multiple points inside my soul, as within, so without. Yours too. So both of these, the 0.5 and the 3, both telling me now that those are openings. Those are 3 odd openings. So you can have that 1 more, which is right here, that total. So now I'm going to take the 31 and divide that by 2. 15.5. We're going to take that 15.5 minus this 10 here. So it equals out 5.5. 2, 5 is God's power. These 0.5 is being that elemental matter. That earth, wind, fire, air. Oh shoot, earth, wind, fire. I'm supposed to apparently listen to some music and watch some Steve Urkel today, y'all. Which I haven't watched TV in so long, I don't even know what's on there anymore. So with this still, you still have these 3 odd openings that add onto that 3 and that 3. So that's where that division comes in at those 3 times. You know, this elemental matter, it's all within us. It's within our earth. It's within God. It's within you. So I'm just going to debunk this whole little bullshit saying that all of the world has been fighting over for no goddamn reason. All lives matter because you are matter. If there's no matter, then there's not you. You say one specific variable matters. Shame on you. Shame on you, because if they're not there, then you aren't either, and that's not what you want, is it? Ridiculous. So, Jehovah's snappy today, you guys. Maybe she needs a little bit more coffee. Gosh, I feel that, and it's just like... All right, so now we're going to break it down even further. In this, we're going to come back to this because I need to talk about something else first before we come back to this whole thing because it's connected. But just be patient, bear with me. So now, if I'm coming over here and I'm seeing all of this, and I'm just like, okay, so I need to have 4 at 2.5 for this all to build back up and become its own spectrum. I also need 1 at 5.5. So this is where this comes in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. This is the 1 and the 2, and then the 0.5s are all mixed in within this spectrum here, filling it and igniting and creationing more, creating more, filling that spectrum up and elevating it and enlightening, to illuminate, to lift, to excel gravity, all of that. This is how it all breaks down. This is your 0.5s to make that, you know, energy circuit pop. This is your nucleus in a cell. And look at, when I reflect it this way, reflect it that way, reflect it this way, whatever, I still have 4 of these with 2.5 inside, plus that 1.5. That 1.5 is keeping everything going. So, this is the next part of this all, and I kind of just was thinking, okay, I explained the body of the cell, but I want to show what exactly happens between those 4 parts and then the rainbow in between, filling that spectrum up and starting it from the bottom to build this way, right? So think about 4 parts on a page. And then on the inside is the inside of God's eye, and it's just all the way down at the bottom, but these 4 parts are filling it up to create the top of that 23 halo. So what we're looking down, when I'm about to show you this, is going to be looking down from the top of that halo, just like this. Okay, so just imagine that for me. So when you have any type of spectrum, no matter what it's for, Colette said it was 3. Now I'm saying it's 4, and it is 4. So, oh, I need another piece of paper. So this is all-seeing eye. It's a mirror. You know, these are diamonds. This is why diamonds can probably still be used. I think he's telling me diamonds are okay. But really, they're mirrors. And that's what he intended. All those card suits of hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spades. The diamonds, which are still a true earth matter, should actually be mirrors. The clubs should actually be trees, because there's no war There's no fight in God's heart and God's heaven on earth. The spades are leaves. And a whole nother video is coming about plants and photosynthesis and all of that, how that works. I don't know about it yet, but apparently there is, because I don't decide what comes out in the videos, God does. So with this mirror of the all-seeing eye, reflecting here, reflecting here, reflecting here, reflecting here, also reflecting here, and so on and so forth if I had the margin space. That middle of that eye is now that windmill, right? And you have all of those beautiful rainbow colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple. And with each arrow, and I'm using a yellow piece of paper, so you can't see the yellow, you guys, I'm sorry, but I'm literally scrounging for paper at this point just to find something to draw on, because I'm running out and yeah. So here comes the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, the purple, all while it's expanding and filling that polynomial sphere while it's reflecting all of these mirrors inside, because it's light, it's the sun. It's just force, momentum, that spark, it's like a firework. How bright are fireworks? And so all of these mirrors are being created. The mirrors that we physically have are made from glass, I guess, or I don't know, whatever they're made from. That just popped in my head. So if someone wants to debunk me, that's fine. If not, maybe I should have a whole video on mirrors. You guys, it's very hard to hold space for all this information and, you know, try to explain it. So the 4 parts from this whole math debunking, right? This whole math debunking video lesson that I'm showing all of you, because I love you. God is our 5th element. Jehovah is always our 4th. Always our 4th Jehovah. 3rd's also Yeshua. We'll get into that later. Riemann, so it's the other part of this whole lesson, this whole theory. And then if we're flipping it like we would, we have Einstein over here that continued Riemann's work, you know, kind of to an extent. They just didn't know. So then we need to figure out this 4th part. This 4th part, what makes up this whole 4th of this lesson, of this whole math and science, collapse, conjecture, Riemann hypothesis, the end of God's intended plan for creation. What makes this? So let's find it out together. Oh yeah. So while we're finding it out together, let's continue on. So while this is going on, and building bigger and bigger, like Bob the Builder, apparently. Oh my gosh. This is what the start of that really looks like. So 1879 is when Einstein was born to continue this work. 1859 is when Riemann hypothesis number 23 was discovered. So there's 20 years in between then, which is 4 cycles of 5. So that's a whole cycle within itself right there, you know. So now here comes that 1 energy spot. These are the 4 cycles of 5, equaling 8 cycles of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, okay, 8 and then 10 there, because yeah, 8 if it was just the 4, which it is to build the next part, but then it's the 5, so it's 10, 8, and 10. So when I colored in, I did exactly how God intended with the rainbow. You know, purple out, red out this way. And this is how our chakras should be balanced. Within our soul, red and red, orange and orange, yellow, yellow, green, green, blue, blue, purple, purple. It's all in there. It just looks really bland. But hopefully that'll give you guys a better idea of the rainbows inside of us and the rainbows that others have that are so shadowed and gray and cloudy that are just making them miserable. If any of you guys recognize shadows now, just help them. I'm here to talk. Do not talk about your story, because it's not time to talk about your story. It's time to talk about theirs. Give them space to feel validated. Give them a safe place just to be themselves, because look what happens when you don't. This is what we need, okay? So please be there for others. Yeah, just, it's sad that I have to say that to adults who act like children. Really, I've always been the adult with the adults and the children in the world. And here I am once again. It's annoying. All right, so moving on. This is where I am taking now, since we've gotten to this point. So we know that the basis of this lesson comes from God, Jehovah, Riemann, and Einstein. So I'm going to take that 23 halo to it, and I'm going to debunk the math even more. So what I did now was, I gotta get this going here. Take that 2021 minus 1921, so that's 100 years. 1921 minus 1905, that's a, oh, I read this wrong because I wrote it wrong. I mean, I got it right, but it's just wrong. So this is actually 16 years, but then it's the 100 from here. So that's what confused me, because I've got all these other numbers and everything in my head. So 116. This right here, though, is just 16, but the total is 116. So now I decided, since, okay, we have 100, that's one whole cycle, one whole cycle right here, plus the 16 of this, which tells me that this cycle is not completed, right? Because there's not a whole nother one. There's just room for more. So then I took, well, it's 100. Let's negative that one, since God don't exist. And now it's 99. 99, which automatically tells me it's an open-ended number. So we're going to take that 99 and divide it by 3, which is 33, divided by those 3 other entities of Riemann, Einstein, whoever. 33 cycles. Now this comes in to the science as well, because we talked about earth cycles yesterday, and now we're talking about intellectual. So now it's been 33 life cycles right here since this intellectual part has started and ended now, and now it's restarted 16 years ago. So I'm halfway in to this cycle, which also tells me that this work was not truly completed, was it? Nope. Ugh, men. No offense, but ego is mostly men, y'all. Men, you want women to love you and take care of you, you gotta take care of yourself first, okay? Seriously, I'm here for you. It's okay to feel the emotions. It's okay to need a hug. It's okay to say, I'm really fucked up. We all start from somewhere. This is God right now because of all this bullshit. You know, can you imagine, like me and others, and what I want you to be? Oh, these are from my first video lesson, so you need to go back. If you haven't seen the rest of my videos, you need to go back anyway, because all of this will start to make sense even more. But now you see that as within, so without. This energy, when I'm not doing God's work, when I don't have God ready to this feels so good. This feels so good. Men, I want this for you. And we need you to feel this way because we need you to help us reproduce positively. Okay? Oh. Away with that, I guess. I need it, but I'll get it later. So, going back to this, 33 cycles now. So this is restarting over. So then I'm like, okay, let's do this one more time. Divide it by 3 more to continue And that's 11. 11, you're gonna learn to love 11 real big. So we take 11 minus 1, that's at 10 cycles again, right? Plus the 2 open ends. So that's already come back around. Damn it, I need that other one already. So that 10 has already come back around for this here. So then on top of that, 11 is a mirror reflected, but it's really 2.5. There's 2, you need another half to get that going. So there comes your 2.5 of your reflection, continuing your 5 there. And then to continue more, there's that 0.5 when taken out this way, you know, because 2.5 is 2, and then 0.5, whatnot, and then this is 3 plus 1 there. And I've already did that yesterday, so I'm not going to spend time repeating that again. So then we're going to go back up to this way. And it's been 116 years, but I'm going to negative that one since it's non-existent, of course. And now that's 115 years. And so when I divide 115 by 5, because I know that 5 is going to go in there because it's energy. It's when you start to learn numbers, you're taking less steps because your brain is able to process it more. So 5 goes into 115 23 times. 23 times. So then, if I'm dividing that again by half of that to continue on the creation, 115 divided by 2.5 is 46. Mirrored, continuing to go on. Human. Go from there, 23. Go from there, 2.5, and just goes on. And you guys, my goldfish infinity signs are getting pretty better. So, also, right here, this 46, that is years in between the discovered work of Einstein and Riemann. So that's just one more variable in this whole spectrum. So now when we combined all of these down here together, right, if I'm taking 1905 and I'm dividing it, okay, taking out the energy, taking out the 0 there because that's just the division more. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. So I'm adding that 0.5 down to this 1 plus this 5. 5.5 plus the 1. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. So 11 and 6 is 16. Or we can do 10.5 plus the 5.5. It's still 16. No matter which way you do it, it still needs to equal out part of that proportion, right? We still need to have that 26 reflecting one whole circle is 31 to 13. 62 to one whole circle is still reflecting the 13 to 31. No matter what, as long as it's balanced there, you have to have that symmetry, you have to have that balance, or it's not going to resonate, right? So, continuing on, so we have 33 cycles intellectually. We have 16 cycles of the total 28 for physical. It equals 49. 49 I know is an open-ended number, and if I add 3 more, that's 52. So that means 52 weeks in the whole 1 year cycle. I'm halfway through. Isn't that insane, you guys? This is just what I found yesterday, right? So our soul cycle is 23. We have 23 days in each soul cycle, 28 days in each physical cycle, hence why women have periods. We'll get into that later. 33 days in the intellectual cycle, proving right here. So now, if I take 33 by 33, we have 1,089, which tells me 1.89 there. So actually, yeah. So each divided by 3. So we're going to do those by 3 there, 1 and 1. 8 divided by 4 divided by 2 is 1. 9 divided by 3 divided by 3 is 1. So then we have the 2.5 right there, just from the intellectual cycle alone. Coming down here, 3316 times, 33 times 16 is 528. 5 point, because that's 5 cycles, 10 cycles, 7 cycles, 5, 2, 8. So 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 4, 1, 1, 1, you know all that. Once again, 2.5. That was the half of the physical cycle. 33.20, or 33 times 23, 759. 7.59, 7 cycles. 7 divided by 2, 3.5. 5 divided by 2, 2.5, and then 1 and 1. So this is 7 times total. So this is where you have to have 7 life cycles in to completely keep this going. 7, 7, 7. You know, everything. We're going to get into that in a little bit. So once again, going back to this 3 and 1, I've proven to you how each of these adjoining receiving ends are down here. We have the one for the intellectual cycle, which is mind. We have the one for the physical cycle, which is body. And then we also have the one for the soul cycle, 23. But there's only 3, like they said. So what's missing? You guys know what's missing. I don't know how many times I have to explain this, but it just keeps getting better and better, doesn't it? So, moving on. So now, we're going to keep that one for later. Ooh. Mm-hmm. God, it's so good. All right. So, trying to find where I left off at here now. Yes. So 100 is a whole cycle, right? So whole cycle that 23 can fit into, even though it doesn't seem like it would, because we made up shit. So the other day, my daughter was watching Soul, and Soul, they're all, number 22, because they need Earth, which is 1 more to make 23. They need their soul to make 1 more, 23. They need themselves to make 1 more, 23. And you guys, once your goggles are off, you are gonna see how much TV, how many movies are really real. And I have a lot more to show you on that, because so anyway, so I was thinking, okay, 22. Let's deduct 1 from 23. God don't exist, right? So all we are to the government is just a number anyway. So let's just go with 22. Since 100 is the first whole circle that 22 can fit into evenly. Seems weird. It does, doesn't it? Because of what we've been taught. But let me show you the true intended way. So when I do that with a calculator, which is still wrong, 100 divided by 22 is 4.54545455. So right there, that tells me it's mirroring. And I love when it mirrors. That's what we want. That's what we want to see. So let me show you in a couple different ways here just how stupid these mathematicians and scientists have been, how much harder they have made math for us. In 10th grade, I caused a mutiny in my math class at Snohomish High School because my math teacher did not understand that I could not understand him because I could not understand the math. I caused a mutiny by standing up and saying, "Can you please teach us a different way? Because I don't understand it." When I asked the rest of the class what they understood or if they didn't understand it, there was only 3 people that did. 3 out of group of what, 30 kids probably back then? 3. And I'm still in the wrong because I couldn't understand it. You know why? Because I understand it damn now well, don't I, Mr. Anderson? So, moving on. Excuse my French, because I don't like to swear. I've been trying very hard not to swear, but I've been trying to do a lot of things within these 10 commandments, and I'm just human. And Jehovah says we have bigger problems. So, you know, swear words, all the good drugs. Why do you think they're banned for a reason? They don't want us getting closer to God. The Woodstock movement? Oh, hell yeah, I would have been back there. Let's do it again. Someone set it up. You let me know, I'll be there. So, if I could just focus on the right one here. So now we're going to, I'm going to break this down for you and show you. So this 22 here is reflecting 11 from somewhere else, because there's always a 1, right? And so 11 is also split in between. It's mirroring. It has that double colon. It's because it's mirroring regardless, no matter what. There's 2 sides to everything, no matter what. At the very minimum, there's 2 sides. So now this energy is going this way. Well, it's also going the opposite way, but we're building up when we go that way, and we're building down this polarity. So that's why we're doing it that way. So this tells me that there's 4 cycles. This is where God comes into play. This is where God comes into play right here. And he's also going to come into play right here. So I'm just going to do that there, which I already know because it's repeating something different. The cycle has changed. So then when I look at this down here, this is going to be 11. This is going to be 11. This is going to be 11. Because of those 3 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Total of 4 to make the 5. And it's 11 because it's 54, 54, 54. Now, if this was turned around, like which it technically would be, this would be 5, 4 here. So you'd have 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4. So with these 11s now being reflected, bringing this over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's really what our outlets look like, but they close in the holes for the plugins, right? And that's also 4. So there's 2, 2, and 2. Vice versa. You guys know. You guys are smart. You're getting it. You're figuring it out. So now this is going to go on here, continuing that energy, continuing the reflection, because it's 5, 5. So now it's done for. Like, it's just never going to stop now because it's a 5. So this is now going to continue this way and be reflected 6 ways. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, before the closeout there. Before the close of the energy circuit to then create more. So then, when this comes down, if I'm doing this like that, and this is just going to be 5s, of course. But now we have 23s, 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 23s again. 23, 23, 23. Because everything expands from 23. We also have 22s in there, though, because of the 11s. Which I wrote it like that on purpose so you can kind of just see how much it's all stacking. And there's so many different layers to it. So then we're going to come down now and separate, and you know, these are going to be reflected out. So let's put our diamonds there, our mirrors. Honestly, our Stars of David. Okay. And then this is going to come down to being reflected twice now on each side. 11.5, 11.5, 11.5. Which is just going to continue on and on and on and on and on, just like this 5 here. So ultimately what that's saying in the formula stance is, so it's 11, 11, 11, 11, or it's 2.5 mirroring 2.5. There's no extras, so it's going to go into 100 perfectly. But this isn't really going to tell you on a calculator. So then, this is where I debunked all the math. I don't think I need to write anymore because look at my hand. Let's get my pointer. So, oh, yes, he wants me to do this too, I forgot. So not only is that mirrored, this also goes back to proving to show this is your first step, your second step, your third step, your fourth step, fifth, sixth, and seventh. And then you need the 8 and the 9 while connecting to the next. So all single digit numbers are basis of creation. So I decided then, okay, well, let's take that 99, since that's really what it is, and divide it by 22. So I just took the 1 after it doesn't exist already, but I kept the 22 the same from my experiment before. So now I took 99 divided by 22. Total equaled out amount of 4.5. Do you see how much easier that was? Do you know how much time this would have saved us in high school? Even maybe what your job is doing now, you poor thing. You know, look at how much easier that was. 4.5 versus this whole basis of how the hell? No wonder they wanted to make it easier. God, greedy people. Not the truth though. So now we have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that 5, right? It's still even, but it's closing that circuit and creating the next. So this is what that looks like. We have the 1, 2, the 3, and the 4, and the half mirrored on this side, mirroring this way. So now it's being directed this way, being directed this way, being directed this way, and being directed this way. All with that outlet, all while it's reflecting, all while it's expanding this way, and this way, and this way, you know, vice versa. The outlet changing direction because this one will now, you know, this one should still be here as well too, but you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your 0.5 is there, creating that 1. So the polarity comes in when building, even when it's completely constructed, we're still in the polarity, right? So no matter which way our eye is facing, our earth is facing, no matter what, we're still going north, south, east, west. Our main focus is still going to be going with the energy. It's not going to be turning around like it will be, but not each. It all goes the same way as the flow. There's one that cannot break the flow. So this energy, because it keeps going. So I broke it down like the science-wise, right? But let's break it down by the math. And that, well, I guess this was science and math. It's all everything. So I'm gonna have to move chairs again, you guys. So there's 4 cycles. 454 divided by 2 is 2.27272728. So approximately 227, because this forever goes on to like this. So once again, this tells me they took the shittier route. So I'm like, okay, this don't work. So let's add 0.01 to each term there. So 4.54 plus 0.01 is 4.55. Kind of what we got there, right? 2.27 plus 0.01 is 2.28. When you divide these, 1.99561404. There's no balance. It's not a whole circuit. It's really close, but it doesn't equal evenly out like this does that we want. So I mean, it works. It's just harder for you. And it's not what God intended. So second step, let's add 0.01 and delete 0.01 from the second term. 4.54 plus 0.1 is 4.55 again. 2.27 negative 0.01 is 2.26. No polynomial sphere once again, because it's 2.0132. I mean, it works. There's its own sphere, but it's too much, as it's too much over, even if it's just by the hundreds and the thousands. It's still too much for it to have, it's just not balanced still. It still doesn't have a balance, right? There's still 2 whole cycles, which I acknowledge that, but it's not the balance that I need exactly. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna try it this way. Let's delete from both. So I took away 1 from 5.54, and I took away 1 from 2.27. So now this hit me at 2.0044. So I got excited because I was like, oh, hell yeah, there it is. There's the 2, there's the even, there's the mirroring. That is what I want to see. So then I broke it down. Okay, 2 cycles. So that's 2, and then the cells right there, right? God, moving the 2 over there. Now there's 4, 4. So that tells me there's 4 sets of 11 right there coming down. So that's open-ended. Creating the 2, reflection, open-ended. Creating the 4, reflection, every time God hits, that's open-ended too. 7, open-ended, but then I hit the 8. And yeah, the 8 works because it's even, and it closes this circuit here. Oh, it closes this circuit, but it only continues within itself. It can't continue on without that +1, which is where we get to this. Yay. The last and final one that I tried was that I'm adding Elohim. Hell yes, I am, because I love him and he is there. I am not here if he's not there. You are not here if he's not there. So I love him, I love myself, and I love you. Let me show you. So we're gonna add 1, because we're adding 1 to the positive because it's there, right? But we're gonna keep that second term the same because it's negative. So no matter how negative it is, you're not gonna have God involved at all. So why are we trying to add 1 to negative? We're not. God will not exist as soon as we get into that negative spectrum. Which we're going back down, y'all. Just saying. Okay. Whoa. Oh gosh, you guys, my whole little setup here. Okay, so we're gonna add 1 and keep the same. So we're gonna put 4.55 and 2.27, adding the 1 from the 454 and adding the 1 from the 227. So once again, we're breaking that down. There's that 2.5, or 1 1/2, and then 1 1/2, 1 1/2. Here's that 0 double 0 that we need, that momentum to keep God going. And then once again, there's the 2 sets of 4 11s that are reflecting. While this is also reflecting on the opposite side. So keep in mind that there's actually 8 sets. 8 sets, all of that. Here's God again, and there he is, high and mighty, just dividing this all. Look at how beautiful he is. And there's the 2, which is open-ended. The 4s are still open-ended. They were back over here. 2 open-ended. Now 9. 9 is open-ended. And before I even broke this down, I already knew when I saw that 9 that this was the answer, because work smarter, not harder. 9 is a prime number. Therefore, 9 times 11, 9 sets of 11 is 99. Plus that 1 more is 100. So it's been 99 years. 100 years plus that 1 that I broke down for you on this here, right? So now I just debunked the math on it, and I did the easiest route. I did the easiest thing. Look at how hard they've made it for us. Don't even use your calculator anymore. Like, all these things that add up just to get control over us, all these things that add up to like, oh, well, I'm gonna need a calculator. That's just more money to spend. Like, this control is just gone too long, too long. All of you guys look so stressed out about your math final. Don't fucking worry about it. You know why? Because when the Messiah does come, it ain't gonna matter, because this math is gonna matter, and it is the easiest thing. Once you can understand it, I could not believe I finished this yesterday in 3 hours. And how much studying have we done for a fucking math test that we cannot understand? Because there's those of us who cannot understand it. I do not feel bad at all about never being able to understand math and never being able to go and accentuate my education because I couldn't understand math. Because everyone told me I wasn't smart enough. I couldn't do it. No, you couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. And that's exactly why we're here. All right. Moving on. Thank you for still being here and being with me. I appreciate you for every single thing that you listen to, for your open-mindedness, for being the example. So, I just explained all of this to you, right? But I'm going to take it a little further, because I always like to take it further, because I like to be the black sheep. Bah! All right. So, I'm going to show you exactly how far we can break this down. I'm literally showing you how to break down 455 divided by 227, because this is what works. You're starting off and you have your 4.55. So you have 4 of these. Well, 4 of these, 4 of everything. You really just have 4 of everything. So we're going to take that 4 cells here and the 2 cells here and divide them. You know, here comes down that 5 cell, the 5 cell breaking down into that 2.5, and here's the 1 plus the 0.5, all that fire in between being reflected, being mirrored through the middle of this whole equation, this whole term, this spectrum, mirrored this way, 2 1/2, pretty much. You know, I did the whole thing here just because it's still reflecting back this way. And when this is reflected, it becomes a whole again. So even when you look at it this way, or if I was to flip it around, it would still look like that. Just quick, you know, yeah. So then, as this continues on to be broken down, this is 20. So 4 by 5, I split into 2. Here's the 2 here with the 2 cycles now. 2 cycles from 4, and now this is 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. So 4 is now 220. Now we're going to break this down, because when this is building in this spectrum, all of this is being pulled through these +1s, plus this 5, plus this fire, this, you know, snap, crackle, and pop that's going on here. And these are going to come down and start to build more cells and get down to the real nitty-gritty of these too. And these, when I was doing these and bringing these down and having these colorful rainbows, I just totally thought of music notes, and you know, this is one set of what one of these would be like, but then reflected, you have the 2 and the 4. So this is where the 4 and the 8 come in. Those even numbers, you do need them to continue creation, but the prime numbers is what continues it through combustion and creativity. All-seeing eye, here it is being reflected. So now, honestly, it would be like this again, but I'm just continuing down this way. Here comes in your chirograph, your third party, your everything, the basis of the cell growing, the basis of the cell in the human, the basis of the cell in a tree. This is your family tree. You know, look at this tree trunk going into this heart of just energy here, this chirograph with this all-seeing eye. You know, so now we have 2, 20, and 7, which is half of 455, right? 2, 20, and 7. Come on down this way. And then now we're going to have 2.5, dividing that 5 again one more time, starting that chirograph over 1 and 1. So 2.5 plus 1 plus 1 is 4.5, right? So here comes that 4.5 here, broken all the way down to the chirograph. Where did that other 5 come from? It's because I divided 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I've got room for 4 more halves or an outlet to continuing education, continuing energy. I divided 5 times. Technically 7 because I did 1, 2, 3. You have to have 7 to continue it going completely. And we'll get back to that again in just a minute. I'm going to wrap this up because this one's getting there too. So this is the very start of it. Okay, we have 1, 7, 22, 2 and 27. Continuing on. Pretty much it. Pretty sure we could have learned that in high school too. Can you imagine where our world would be now? With all of that. My goodness. So we're gonna go back to this right here. Because God put a thought in my mind and I was like, no way. Nope. There's no way. There's no way. And then I was talking to Jason the other night and he said something about it. And I was just like, oh shit, here it goes. Because for Jason to say something and for Jason having as much of Elohim inside him that he does and I do, and that we base our loving relationship off of God, when he said it, it was just this, oh gosh, it was just this full confirmation for me that, okay, now I have to do this. So this is where this comes back into play. Because who is this 4th one that's making up this whole entire chirograph? That's making up the cell, that's making up the continual energy of this lesson. It's me. I was fighting so hard that for some reason I also have gained the gifts of Riemann and also gained the gifts of Einstein. So this is what I debunked yesterday also. And you guys let me know what you think. So the whole reason I am bringing this one back up is because I was born in 1989. 1989. So that makes me 31 years old. I'm 31. So when I when I subtracted 1859 minus 1989, when 23 was discovered, it's 130 years, 13 cycles. So no wonder it started over in these last 5 weeks for me. When I deducted 1989, oh, I lied. When I deducted 1879 from 1989, when Einstein was born, 110 years. 11. Okay. So then I decided, all right, well, I'm going to go just a little further with it because that's just not enough for me. I need to know why and how. Why I am doing this to contribute to this, 4-part that Jehovah and God seem I'm deemed worthy of. But I still don't know what the hell I'm talking about, do I? So I'm like, okay, let's take the 130 and we're just going to knock off the 0 because I know it's 100. I know it's a whole circle already, a whole circuit. I don't need to count for it. I'm going to hold space for it. So then I did 13 divided by the 4, because I'm one of 4 in this whole lesson plan, which is 3.25. Great, that's odd. It's odd, but it's even, and it works. I don't have to do all that little extra 2750 crap that I'm going to show you here in a second. So now, if I have 4 of these that I'm dividing by plus 100, that energy is floating within, right? For adding, subtracting, multiplication, all of that. So since I am now trying to discover what all of this is, what I'm going to do is I'm really going to make these energy circuits. This energy is going to go up this way, creating that receiving end, ain't it? Going back down this way, pulling this over this way, so on and so forth. There's your chirograph again in just this little. So 4 times 3 is now 12. 0.25 times 4 is 1. Here we are at that 13 again. You need that extra 1 in order for things to finish cycling out. You know, these are the start of the building blocks here for this whole thing, and I'll show you that in a second here. So let's do it again with this 2.75. Nova, can you give me just a minute, please? 2.75. So then we're gonna take these again, pull this around that way. Whoop. So this is now 8 plus 3 equals 11. So on chirograph again, while it's still, you know, 2 years and 20 years in between here, all that, depending on the variables. So now when I divide these by 2, I'm going to get 1 and 1/2 because of the 0.75, 0.75, 0.75, 0.75. So with these now become the building blocks of this whole little cell equation, whichever. You know, you're starting off with that 5 in between there, and then you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4 in between for the fire, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there, and it's just continually stacking for this polynomial sphere for it to build and build and build, filling on, so on and so forth, with these little cells here that we have, plus all the fire in between igniting it. So no matter the value of n, you're still going to have the balance that you need. So then I was like, okay, let's just go back then. We need to add that 100 back in because it is there, and we need to account for it because we're not going to not account for it because that's the whole point of this, and that's rude. So when I added the 100 back in, 130 divided by 4 is 3250, which this is perfect because it's a whole circle, so it evenly goes into the 130. So this is 4 times divided to the 1. This is open-ended because it's 5. Continuing creation to complete the balance of that life cycle circle, of all cycles. Now, when I did 110 divided by 4, it was 2750, which is what I was talking about, this 2750 crap. Look at it, just continually goes down, probably even more. You know, the numerology in here is really fun. I was going through this yesterday and really, you know, seeing how fun this was for me in the 52, the 26, the 13, the 6, the 3, the 1. It all just stacks up this way too. So I've only debunked it really the one way, acknowledging that it can also go this way. But I have yet to really figure out why. And that's something else I've been working on. But this right here tells me that no, it's not going to work because it's the positive. It's not positive. I mean, it's not going to continue. It's not finished yet because I don't get this 1. There's no 1 to just, I'm already way past the 1. I should have just really stopped right here, but I wanted to show you. This is the math that they've been having us do, you know? So the last thing that I want to show you about me being intuitively gifted to finish this lesson out is I'm going to try to debunk myself on this whole Einstein thing and Riemann thing one more time. I just failed this last one, but I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to try multiple times because that's what I need to do. So what I did was, I'm going to be out on a log there with everything else that I've done. But this is my birthday, June 19th, 1989. I'm 31 now. Ironically, I'm going to be 32 this Saturday on the 19th, which is a prime number. I was also born 3 days early. I was supposed to be born on the 22nd of June, but I was born this day, 3 days early. And I will show you the magic of what happens in that. In the time chart I've already drawn out, another video. I could probably do everybody's time chart. It would be fun. So let's break this down. And then we're gonna wrap it up and be done with it. And then who knows what else, what other video I'll put out. June 19th, 1989. So I'm just going to break these in two because I know that that's being mirrored. That is being split into two because it's 4 parts. So now I'm going to split this into 2 and I'm going to split this into 2, right? 4 parts, but 3 divisions, 3 and 1. So now we're gonna do it. So I'm gonna get ready to divide and I'm gonna do step by step. So I don't need to do this but I'm gonna do it anyway. This is 5 plus 1. You know, area 51, I don't know. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna break down the 5 plus 1 there. So this is now gonna be 2.5 divided, and that's 0.5, right? So 5 divided is 2.5, 1 divided is 0.5. So then I'm gonna go over to the 19th day here, when I'm really just gonna cancel this 1 out because I already know that that's God, but I need to count for it later. So this is just 9. So then I'm gonna divide it by 3, and get the 1. And I'm really quick doing that on both sides. So it's mirror, mirror, mirrored, no matter what. So once right here, this shows me mirrored. You know, mirrored completely by 4. This is even completely. This is where my 5 comes in. My 5 on my birthday. So then we're gonna do the 89. 89, 8 divided by 2 is 4, divided by 2 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 1. So there I've broken it down completely. 1, 2, 3, 4, the 2.5, and the 0.5 that I need to make up the whole 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Total of 7 right there. We have to have rule of 7. We have everything is 7. So now what I need to do, since I know now that this is finished, I'm gonna kind of just, you know, break this little spectrum, this kind of football, Stewie's head type of thing up. And now this is gonna give me the powerhouse to all of this. Okay, so I took the top of that, and now what I'm doing, so I did 2.5 again, plus the 0.5, the 1, the 1, the 1, and the 1. So no matter which direction the energy is pulling it, right, it still is equal, it still is mirrored, it's still symmetrical. So then I'm gonna break up the 2.5 and the 2.5, or the 5 right there. So either way, this is still gonna be an I because it's just always going no matter what. Halo 23, that's where that's starting, okay? So then I know that this is going to go this way, and that's going to go that way, because it has to form that sphere or that spectrum, telling me that this is now once again a division. God's there. It's great. It's a great feeling. Once again, there he is, even bigger. Thank you, Elohim. Thank you, Jehovah, for that one more, because I've already done all of this. This is a mirror, a mirror, and a mirror, and a mirror. So now, coming down to the end of this, I now have to extend, you know, this energy out this way, right? Therefore, circling back this way, creating an open end here. All of these have so many energy spots in between. Like, don't forget about that either. There's energy spots here, energy spot here, energy spot here. And now this kind of comes in where your property is, huh? You look at a map. Oh, this is my house. That's my neighbor's house. Wow, that neighbor's a bitch. You know, all of this. It's still a part of you. And you still need to be nice and love and compassion, okay? So now I have a total of 7. 7 there. I have a total of 7 to make this whole flowing chirograph work of 4 parts, but 3 in the 1. I finished it out. I can't debunk myself anymore, and I wouldn't be able to do it without God. But I did it. I did it. You know, to make it even more special, the fact that this is now me and how amazing and magical this is, and everything else that I know about time and what I have to share, and that this is me. I have a daughter. I was never supposed to have her because I've had an ovarian disease my whole life. You want to know what my daughter's birthday is? July 7th, 2017. Oh, I feel the energy, you guys. She was born at 7:17 p.m. God put me in life to do this. I was never intended to kill myself because of everybody else's ego, because of my mom's ego, because of my sister's ego, because of every single alcoholic. Everything. 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds I've been recording. My baby is an angel. She saved me. I did all of this for her. I did all this for myself. I did all this for God. And I did all of this for you. We have been stuck in this tower. I have been stuck in a tower. But the anxiety, those anxiety attacks, those are towers. God is stuck in one. Do you believe me now? Is there anything else that I can debunk for you to even get you to start believing? I'm working on time right now. We'll see what else God wants me to share. But in the meantime, it is up to you. I will see you soon. You are beautiful. Do not give up. Still practice it. Meditate. Okay, I'm here for you. You call me, you send me a message, meditate, or just talk and cry. I will be here for you. I'm here for you. I love you. And I love Elohim, Jehovah. Are you ready? Are you ready to join me? Wounds into light.